Today, we're diving deep into the story of a true cultural phenomenon, an artist who didn't just break the mold, but shattered it into a million pieces. We're talking about Billie Eilish and how, at just 17 years old, she completely redefined what it means to be a pop star in the 21st century. Think back to the late 2010s. What did pop music sound like? We had big, polished productions, perfectly choreographed music videos, and a certain kind of glamour that felt almost untouchable. The formula was clear: catchy hooks, upbeat tempos, and a carefully crafted, often flawless public image. It worked. It sold records and filled stadiums. But then, from a bedroom in Highland Park, Los Angeles, a new sound started to emerge. A sound that was quiet, yet deafeningly loud in its impact. This is the story of how a teenager, with her brother Phineas, created a sonic universe that was dark, introspective, and unapologetically weird. They uploaded a song called Ocean Eyes to SoundCloud, a track Phineas originally wrote for his own band. They didn't have a marketing budget or a major label pushing them. They just had a song, a microphone, and an internet connection, and that was enough. The song went viral overnight, not because of a gimmick, but because it was raw, ethereal, and deeply authentic. It connected with people, especially a younger generation that was tired of the glossy perfection they saw everywhere else. What made Billie so different? First, let's talk about the music itself. Her debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, wasn't your typical pop record. It was a masterpiece of whisper pop, a term that perfectly captures her signature hushed ASMR-like vocals. Instead of belting out high notes over a booming bass, Billie drew you in. She sang right into your ear, creating an incredible sense of intimacy. It felt like she was sharing secrets, not performing for a crowd. This minimalist approach was a radical departure from the maximalist pop that dominated the charts. The production, handled entirely by Phineas in his bedroom, was just as revolutionary. They incorporated unconventional sounds, a dentist's drill, the sound of a crosswalk signal, a sample from the TV show The Office. It was experimental and playful, proving that you didn't need a state-of-the-art studio to create a groundbreaking album. This DIY ethos inspired countless aspiring artists. It sent a powerful message: your bedroom can be a studio, your laptop can be an orchestra, and your unique ideas are your greatest asset. They democratized music production for a new generation. But Billie's impact goes far beyond her sound. Her visual aesthetic and her entire persona were a direct challenge to industry norms. Pop stars, especially female pop stars, have historically been subjected to intense scrutiny over their appearance. There was an unspoken pressure to be glamorous, to be a fashion icon in a very specific, often hypersexualized way. Billie rejected this entirely. She famously wore baggy, oversized clothes, completely obscuring her figure. In interviews, she explained that this was a conscious choice. She didn't want the world to have an opinion on her body. She wanted the focus to be solely on her music and her art. This wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a powerful act of defiance. She was taking back control of her own narrative and her own image, refusing to be packaged and sold in the way female artists so often are. For millions of young fans, particularly young women, this was incredibly empowering. She showed them that they didn't have to conform to anyone's expectations of how they should look or dress. Their value wasn't in their appearance, but in their mind, their talent, and their voice. Furthermore, Billie wasn't afraid to be vulnerable and talk about the messy parts of being human. Her lyrics explored themes that pop music often shied away from: anxiety, depression, night terrors, and mental health struggles. She sang about monsters under her bed, but everyone knew these were metaphors for the very real fears and anxieties that so many of us face. In songs like Bury a Friend or Zanny, she tackled dark subjects with a haunting honesty that resonated deeply. She opened up a dialogue about mental health at a time when it was still stigmatized. She created a community where it was okay not to be okay. This authenticity was her superpower. In an age of curated Instagram feeds and manufactured perfection, Billie Eilish was refreshingly, and sometimes uncomfortably, real. She wasn't pretending to have all the answers. She was just a teenager figuring things out, and she invited millions of people along for the ride. The industry had no choice but to take notice. When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?, was released, it didn't just top the charts, it dominated them. It broke streaming records and earned universal critical acclaim. Then came the 2020 Grammy Awards. At just 18 years old, Billie became the youngest artist and the first woman to sweep the four main categories: Best New Artist, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Album of the Year. It was a historic moment, a symbolic passing of the torch. The music industry was officially acknowledging that the rules had changed. The bedroom pop artist had conquered the mainstream. Her success forced the entire industry to reevaluate its playbook. Labels started looking for artists who were unique and authentic, not just marketable copies of existing stars. The definition of a pop star expanded. It no longer meant just one thing. She paved the way for a new wave of artists like Olivia Rodrigo, Tate McRae, and others who blend raw, personal songwriting with genre-bending sounds. So, how did Billie Eilish change music forever at 17? She did it by being completely and utterly herself. She redefined pop sound, championing a minimalist, intimate style over polished perfection. She challenged the industry's aesthetic standards, proving that an artist's value isn't tied to their appearance. And most importantly, she brought a new level of lyrical honesty and vulnerability to the mainstream, opening up crucial conversations about mental health. Billie Eilish didn't just create a new sound, she created a new paradigm for what a global superstar could look, sound, and feel like. She proved that authenticity is the most powerful currency in music, and that the most personal stories can become the most universal anthems. And that is a legacy that will resonate for generations to come. What do you guys think? What's your favorite Billie Eilish song, and how has her music impacted you? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. We'll see you in the next one.